best rate if you want to send money to Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, anywhere in Africa. Download Afriex today. We have the best rate. Transactions are ridiculously fast. Yes. Ridiculously fast.
Yes.
Within 10 seconds, money has arrived. You've sent happiness home. All right?
Hey people, if you know you are a Nigerian in Canada, Africans, whatever continent you're from, I need to tell you about the Afriex app. It's going to help you to be able to transfer and convert your CADs to whatever currency you want to convert it to. You don't have any excuse to send your people money. Not going to say, oh, you need to have a CAD account or dollar account. You can use it and send money to them in whatever currency. So download that app and start sending them money. Don't be stingy.
Don't be stingy.
So we're here to present the iPad to the winner of our raffle draw. Right, so he's just won an iPad. He's an iPad winner.
Well, Fanta came right on time. It's not refurbished, guys.
And I hope you have downloaded the Afriex app. I and my family use Afriex to send money around the world. And if you use Afriex, you are not just getting best rate in town, you are also likely to get a bonus from Afriex. Afriex will be awarding many of you bonuses of $50 to $100 if you send money. And this is aside from you getting the best rate. So please make sure you download the Afriex app and use it to send money from US, from Canada, from Europe to different parts of the world. Beautiful people, welcome to Choco Millionaire. I hope you're doing fine. If today is your first time watching, welcome to yours truly, Choco Millionaire. First time watching, you're really welcome. All right, today is Val's Day. Valentine's Day is a day of love, and I know you're spreading the love out there to your loved ones. Don't do this alone. Remember to send money using Afriex. Afriex allows you to send money from Canada, from US, from Europe to so many countries here in the world, especially in Africa. Do you also know you can now use Afriex to send money within Africa? Yes. If you're living in Nigeria, you can send money from Nigeria to Ghana, to Ivory Coast, to Cameroon, to Kenya, so many countries. All of this just from your cell phone within Africa, not just sending money from abroad to Africa. This time you can send money within Africa. Download the Afriex app and use it. And if you're even sending from Canada, because yours truly Choco is here, Afriex wants me to tell you today that anybody that sends money today from Canada, you automatically getting $5, provided you link your Interact wallet to your Afriex account. If you can link your Interact to your Afriex account and then you send from that wallet, you will automatically be getting $5 today if you send money. All right, so that is for folks in Canada. Make sure you're taking advantage of this and then collect that extra $5. Add it on top of whatever you are sending to your loved ones and let them enjoy it, okay? And also remember, today being Val's Day, you saw Fikayo in the video who got an iPad. He didn't expect it, right? He got surprised. He got an iPad just because he's a faithful user of Afriex. I want to encourage you to also keep sending, because today Afriex is going to be rewarding some of you guys today. You will likely get $20 if you send today. On Val's Day, spreading that love, you will likely get $20 if you get selected. So send that money today on Val's Day, and Afriex will even make it better for you. Do you also know that with Afriex, you can also have a global USD account, which allows you to receive wages from your employers for contract jobs that you've done from all over the world? You can create a USD account on your Afriex app. And with that, your US contract employer will no longer have to go through the stress of how to move the money to you. The money can be deposited into your USD account with Afriex, and then you can now intend move it around. So go ahead and download Afriex, and don't just download it, make sure you're using it to send money. Myself and my family will use Afriex to send money. Let me know what you think about it. Do you also know now with Afriex, you can send money from Africa to places like Canada? Yes, it's easier now. If you're in Nigeria, for example, you can send money from Nigeria to Canada on your Afriex app. Please go to the App Store, download Afriex, and use it, and let me know what you think of it in the comment section. All right, thank you so much. So that is it for Afriex. So guys, as we are celebrating Val's Day, let me just bring in an update from Canada's immigration. In the last few hours, they announced a major update to temporary resident documents. And that update is huge, so I want to talk about it. So in a gazette that initially came out, in a document, a gazette, in a Canada Gazette document called Part 2, Volume 159, number 4, all right, which appeared around January 31st, thereabout of this year. The IRCC, or the Government of Canada's Immigration, decided to do something. They wanted to, according to them, they wanted to protect the integrity of temporary residents here and also give more power to immigration officers or border agents to do their work better. So what they sought to do was to replace a section of the Immigration and Act. Okay, a section of it was replaced, and that section that was replaced or amended was Section 12.06. They amended Section 12.06 and then replaced it with a new section called Section 12.07. What is that section about? What does it seek to do? Well, that section was basically targeting folks that have temporary resident visas and said, we will now be able to give immigration officers or border agents the power to cancel your temporary resident documents. All right, temporary residence documents here will mean anything that's on the permanent residence. So we're talking about your work permits, your visitors visas. We're talking about your ETA, your electronic travel authorizations. For those who don't know about ETAs, ETAs allow countries or travelers who are coming from countries that have some kind of visa agreement or waivers or with Canada to come into Canada for up to about 5 years. All right, and they normally apply online, and within 5 minutes their documents are approved for them. It's not like your normal visa that you're applying with for several months. All right, so people from Europe who want to come to Canada, they tend to come with the ETA, the electronic travel authorizations, and it allows them, it has a validity of about 5 years. Right, then we have the visitor's visa. The maximum validity on a visitor's visa is 10 years. All right, you know, recently they made changes. Now they are no longer issuing that mass 10-year visitor visa or expiry date of your passport visa. Now they are doing it based on what you're coming to do. So the bottom line here is that with a new amendment of Section 12.06, which is now replaced by Section 12.07, immigration officers or border agents have a broad room of power to now cancel visas upon the following grounds or based on the following grounds. If you are found to be somebody with a criminal history, you could be somebody that could have your temporary resident documents cancelled. If you're also somebody who is deemed to have committed a misrepresentation, your temporary resident document could also be cancelled. The first one is criminal history or criminal background checks and stuff like that coming out not negative. You know what I mean? Positive, I should say. Yeah. And then the second one has to do with misrepresentation. And the third one, generally for public safety risk. So if the officers deem that you will be a public safety risk to the government of Canada, they could actually cancel your immigration document. So student visas are also part of this. Work permits are also part of this. We're going to go into this. As I said, they said the main reason why they are actually making these changes is because they want to strengthen and enhance the integrity of Canada's immigration system. So let's go and read a little bit about it in the official document and then see what it is about. All right, I will link this in. I'm going to link this in the description box of this video on my YouTube channel, so make sure you're checking it out. So that is the title: Regulations Amending the Immigration and Refugee Protection Regulations, Cancellation of Immigration Documents. All right, that is 2025. All right, 2025. And as I said, it first appeared in documents here, January 31st, 2025. Okay, so I'm going to go through. So let's talk about the previous session of the Immigration Act that was actually amended. So the section that was amended is Section 12.06 of the Immigration and Refugee Protection Regulations. It's amended by striking out or at the end of paragraph H and by adding the following after paragraph I. So basically they struck out some things and then added some few things. Now, what it was replaced with is this. So it was replaced with Section 12.06 07, an officer may cancel an electronic travel authorization that was issued to a foreign national if, and then they gave a couple of reasons. If the foreign national is inadmissible, meaning now cannot be admitted into Canada as a temporary resident holder. B, if the foreign national becomes ineligible to hold such an authorization under section 12.06, or C, if the officer is satisfied that the electronic travel authorization was issued based on an administrative error. What is an administrative error? I'm not an immigration expert, so I'll just be sharing my opinion on what I think about that. Then it gives a broad number of reasons for cancellation of visas. Folks, I think you should watch this if you are not a permanent resident. I think you should watch this if you are also not a citizen yet, and you are already in Canada or you are in possession of a Canadian immigration document. The reason why I need you to watch this is that if you've watched some of my old videos, I have interviewed folks in the past who said they had some experiences at the airports, either when they were transiting or they were trying to come into Canada and they were not good. And some of them came and then they shared them on my platform. I particularly remember interviewing somebody on this platform, a businessman from an African country, who said whilst he was in transit, they mentioned his name in the PA system, at the airport, and then they isolated him and questions by the airlines. Do you remember that? Now, do you also remember folks who travel with a particular African airline from North Africa? And they said whilst they were in transit in that African country, North Africa, basically they prevented them from traveling. They asked them so many questions, and later on they said they won't allow them to continue their journey from that African country, which is a transit country. They were just transiting there to come to Canada. All right? Some of them were returned back to their home countries. Now, if you really want to probably see why this video is important, or this particular announcement is important, I want you to just watch it to the end and see the different angles that this could play out. All right. So, folks, the way I understand the whole thing is that before, when we say before in Ghana, it means until February 12th, immigration officers had difficulty in probably making decisions efficiently in terms of canceling visas that were issued. All right. Maybe they found certain things later after the visas were issued or those ETAs were approved. And then they found new evidence or new circumstances developed, and they want to make a decision. They are saying that, okay, and one visa officer made a decision to approve this, or it's been approved, but now they are seeing something else. How do we handle this? Do we cancel it? Do we send the people home? Do we do this? There was a bit of confusion. Probably different officers were doing different things, and they were not sure what their powers were. So now IRC decides that, okay, we're going to give you guys more power. The power now is that you guys now have the power to cancel people's immigration document if these following conditions are found: that there was misrepresentation, or there is a criminal history linked there, or there is some threat to public safety or safety risk factors. You could probably cancel those immigration documents. So let's go into the details and analyze some of the scenarios that could lead to the cancellation of the documents. An electronic, so cancellation under section 12.08, it reads, an electronic travel authorization that was issued to a foreign national is cancelled if A, the foreign national becomes a permanent resident. That's an easy one. So if the temporary resident, that foreign national who was issued a document, later on becomes a permanent resident, there probably will be no need for that previous temporary resident. Maybe you had a visitor's visa, right? Which allows you to visit, or you have an ETA, electronic travel authorization, to visit Canada. And then at some point, you have transitioned from being that temporary resident holder to become a permanent resident. You no longer actually have a need for the temporary visa that you had before, because you are now a permanent resident. A permanent resident doesn't need a visa to enter Canada and go back, all right? You don't need that frequent multiple entry visa. You no longer need. So that was one of the bases for which they could cancel your immigration, their temporary immigration. That one is a straightforward one. Number two, B, if the passport or the travel document in respect of which the electronic travel authorization was issued is lost, stolen, or destroyed. That also makes sense. Safety, security reasons, right? We issued a visa to this person, and then we found out that the person's passport is missing, but that passport probably has visas, immigration documents inside. It makes a ton of sense that they could cancel that. C, if the passport or the travel document in respect of which the electronic travel authorization was issued is abandoned by the foreign national. If the person abandons that document, we could also cancel it, right? Okay. I don't know much about that particular one there, so I'll just move on to the next one. D, if the foreign national is deceased, if the foreign national is dead, or there's evidence that that person is no longer alive, they could cancel it. So these ones are easy ones for canceling an electronic travel authorization. Now, let's move on. The regulations are amended by adding the following after section 13.2. And then it goes on and on. Now, let's go to temporary resident visa. Remember, I just talked about the cancellation for ETAs, which is electronic travel authorization for folks who are in Europe and other countries that necessarily don't need an actual visa, but they can just apply online for an ETA, 5 minutes or so, it's approved, right? Those guys, they are the ones that I just read the first one for. Now, let's talk about those who hold temporary resident visas, all right? Like a student visa, like a visitor's visa, stuff like, let's talk about that. An officer may cancel a temporary resident visa that was issued to a foreign national if the foreign national is inadmissible. B, the foreign national did not meet one or more of the requirements under section 179 at the time the temporary visa was issued, or no longer meets one or more of those requirements. C, the foreign national was issued after the issuance of the temporary resident visa, a temporary resident permit under section 24 of the Act. D, the officer has reasonable grounds to believe that the foreign national will not leave Canada by the end of the period authorized for their stay under Division 2. E, the foreign national was refused after the issuance of the temporary resident visa, an electronic travel authorization, work permit, or study permit, or another temporary resident visa. F, the foreign national is the subject of a declaration made under section 22.11 of the Act. Or G, the officer is satisfied that a temporary resident visa was issued based on an administrative error. All right, I will go on and on and on. So what is the meaning of all of this? You probably want to speak to an immigration expert if you have any doubts about some of this, or a consultant. I will just tell you what my personal opinion is. So I think with this, it could be a tool that could be used to deal with the many temporary residence visas that have been issued. And then maybe they found out that many of them were not properly issued. Some of them may have been issued, and then later on, maybe they found out that maybe there is misrepresentation. Maybe the people provided some material evidence at the time they applied, and then they found out later on that it's not true. What they said was not true. They could cancel based on that. Number two, right now that Canada is also overwhelmed by refugee cases or asylum seekers, majority of whom came with temporary resident visas. This tool could be a tool that could probably be used by immigration officers if they have the slightest of maybe a reasonable doubt about your intentions of coming to Canada. Now, in the past, it was difficult for probably some of them to do this because they are trying to I wanted to look at the ways that they were trying to stem the mass visitor visas holders coming into Canada. All right, COVID time, immigration was paused. They were not processing visas. So many people had their applications not going through or not processed for almost 2 years. And then post-COVID, around 2021, 2022, thereabout, they began processing. And then they realized that no, they have so many applications in the system, they probably have to start dealing with the ones that are of priority, student visas, for example, and then maybe focusing on permanent residence and stuff like that. And then they realized that, whoa, we also have like visitors visa, maybe over 1 million plus in the system that needs to be processed, or reviewed. Wow, overwhelmed. So at some point, they just decided that, hey, we're just going to clear all those legacy cases, meaning backlog cases. We're going to clear them. And then criminality check and so many things, you know, they kind of, I wouldn't say they relaxed the system, but people got visas easily. That was the time you saw people getting just visas, you know. People supposed to say, "Hi, Charlie, Canada has responded, though. Why? Me, I didn't even think I'll get it, I got it." Almost everybody was smiling, you know. Canada was looking good, and those was the time that you saw videos all over the place. Canada, 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 Canada. So the Canada bumper season was that time. The harvest season of visitors visa, right? Work visas and visitors visa, LMIs and stuff was that 2021, 2022, 3. You know what happened? Maybe the government thought many of these people were coming to visit and go back, right? Many of these people were coming to see their friends, families and stuff and then go back. Or coming as tourists and go back, conference and go back. It turned out that majority came and didn't go back. Majority came and stayed. Then, at some point, certain airports got overwhelmed. You know what I'm talking about. Certain airports got overwhelmed. They were receiving so many visitor visas coming through, they just didn't know. What IRCC was doing was that they were monitoring cases or reports and things that were happening. They were monitoring them. When I say they were monitoring them, they were looking at the pattern of the issues that were coming through. And I suspect that they probably wish they could go back and on issue or reverse some of the things, but they just, you know what I mean? So probably, I'm just speculating here. So don't quote me on this, that is what I say. I'm speculating here, okay? And I have the right to speculate reasonably. So what did they try doing? Okay, they now had to sit down probably at some point and say, okay, let's notice where we're having the mass asylum cases or whatever, which countries this, most likely India is number 1. You know, India tops the numbers already. Over 20,000 international students who from India were supposed to be in school, they didn't go to school. They are all here, majority sought asylum. Some have crossed from here to USA illegally. You know, they have a way of crossing. They've crossed from here to USA to go and seek asylum there, and blah blah blah, so many things. So now they probably put some pressure on airlines for airlines to be the one to help them do some screening. So now you got to a point, for the first time, people are saying, I'm trying to leave Ghana or fly from Ghana as a visitor visa holder. And the kind of questions they're asking me questions as if they are the ones who issued the visa. Do you remember? Do you know somebody who went through those things? You know somebody who went through that, right? Comment below if you know people who went through this. Oh, I'm trying to leave Nigeria with a visitor visa to go attend a conference or something like that. And you know, they are asking me questions at Murtala Mohammed Airport as if they are the ones who give the visa. You know what I mean? And this is like airline company, you know, they are kind of screening you. It's as if you are doing a whole new visa application. They're asking you for this, proof of this, you know. And some of you got really uncomfortable. It didn't stop there. If you manage to leave your home country and you fly, you were in transit and then you also got isolated, or then you went through some another level of screening or embarrassment there. Those of you who travel with those African airlines or some of those airlines going through the other countries, I'll mention them, you know what I'm talking about, right? What happened? Your names, some of you had your names mentioned in the PA system. Kofi and Susu Emenu, you know, Shukri Mohammed, isolated, appear here, this side. And then they begin screening you all over, asking you questions. By the time they are done asking you the question, boarding is already happening. Your other colleagues on the passengers are already boarding and they are leaving. And then you are told that you will not be allowed to travel. And you're like, what is going on? I have a valid visa. What is going on? Do you remember those stories? So my guess is that around that time, the immigration was probably trying to control the number of people coming in who are likely going to seek asylum by putting the pressure on airlines and now forcing maybe airlines to do more screening. And then maybe the airlines were now going to be reporting back to immigration here that this is what they are picking. Based on this, what do you think? So some of you were there and then you say, okay, you were there and then the airline officer or whatever officer, boarding whatever officer or immigration person called Canada's immigration and talked to somebody who is an immigration officer there. And after talking to the person, they decided that they won't allow you to what? Travel. That your document is no longer blah, blah, blah. You remember some of those experiences that people shared? All right. If what I'm saying could even be true, why do you think they have to now go through airlines to kind of pick all this kind of, should I say intelligence or information or whatever it is? It could be because they think that the previous section or Immigration Act did not give immigration officers the power to do some of what they can now do under the new changes, which is automatically canceling documents at, based on the conditions cited. So they had to use all this kind of third party, the airlines, different things to see if those airlines can manage some of the risk, helping, you know what I mean? Now with this, in fact, I think they captured a portion there. Let me go and see if I can read that portion on for airlines here. Okay, I think I saw it somewhere. By the way, I'm going to post a link there. So go ahead and read it yourself, okay? Benefits and cost. Okay, under benefits and cost, there is a section where they talked about airlines. So let me talk about that briefly. All right, so under benefits and costs, it says minimal impacts may also be experienced by airlines who interact with clients who receive a no board message. And you see no board is in what? They put them in quote here. You see? Airlines who interact with clients, which means travelers, who receive a no board message when their document is cancelled. IRCC has informed airlines of this change. IRCC will continue to support airlines and travelers as required to help manage these situations. So, you see, airlines have been mentioned here. That no board policy where they say you cannot board, either from Ghana, from India, before you even leave your country, they say you cannot board. Or they allowed you to board part one, but that's why in transit they say, no, you cannot continue. You can come back. Because they talk to you, they ask you questions, and based on the answers they are getting the vibe that this guy, where they go, you are not, you see, I'm not laughing because I'm happy. I'm just making a video. So I know some of you interpret this wrongly. We live in an era of people are picking all kind of stupid clues for people's faces to see whether they are happy or they are not. I'm just giving you an update. In my opinion, with these new changes they've made, it makes it more easier to cancel your visa. You may not even know your visa has been cancelled. So long as they have reason, they will cancel. What if they begin to do some auditing and then they find so many question marks with some visas? They could cancel them. What is even happening is that they are not just targeting just visas, or temporary visas, or temporary resident documents. So this includes student visas too. In fact, there is a portion that says that if the person does not go to the school, the person does not do what they're supposed to do as students, they could cancel it. They could cancel your visa as well. So that means that those of you who are coming in here and are not going to school, you could also be there and then boom, your documents are cancelled. You are now inadmissible and you have to leave. Right? It's quite a lot. It's quite a lot in here. What should you do? I think you should be more updated with the immigration update. Just like we are discussing this particular update. I think you should be on top of your immigration status as well, or issues. Some of you have no clue. You have visas. You have no clue. You don't even know how to log into your portal. I've talked about this in my old videos. I'm talking to you right now, watching me. You have a visa, isn't it? Canada visa. If the agent will give you, no problem. You saw the agent out, right? No problem. Can you log into your portal? You cannot log in. Do you know what is inside the portal? You don't know. Yeah, you are holding Canada visa. You have gone to give Thanksgiving in church already to your pastor. You are preparing to come to Canada. Eh? That African country, you see, you are even looking for cheap airline too. So they go past some places where they flag all those places because they know all the people who are looking for cheap airline are going to use those airlines too. And they are going to get all of you there one by one. They'll begin to, you know what I mean? The slightest thing, pimp. This time they don't even need to be the slightest thing. It's been cancelled in the system automatically. Now because they have the tool now, the power has been given to them, they can cancel it. That's what it means. You have to be on top of your immigration stuff. Be on top. If you pick 10 people, majority of them didn't do their own application. That's a fact. If you pick 10 people right now, the chances that you see 6, 7 of them, they didn't do the application, will be high. No be me and they talk. That be the reality. They know. And they know you don't even know what is, they know you don't know what's up. You understand what I mean, yeah? So this be the time where you for day updated. Have the login. Know what is on your file. Some of you are coming to Canada. You don't even know the purpose for which you are coming. Somebody who I had a chance to talk to. You have a visitor visa. Okay, what are you coming? I'm coming to visit Canada. Which part of Canada are you visiting? You don't have no idea. You have no idea where you are coming to visit in Canada. No, I don't care if you got a visa, but you should know why you are coming to Canada, man. So imagine immigration officer study ask you these questions. Where is the reason for which you are cancelled on? This one, this time they give us. So right now you go see that they're going to put them as swag. Is this swag? Pick, they cancel them. It wouldn't be the case of those time where they will, they have to now bear the cost of maybe a soft deportation and then you go and then you come out. Now they have the power to now be doing cancellations. By the way, guys, I encourage you to read it yourself so that it doesn't look like I'm just saying things out of what. I'm going to put a link in the description box. Make sure you're clicking on it to read it. Let me read another angle to this probably from another platform. Let me just read this. I think there is a news item on this as well. So let me just go through and read this, okay? Yeah. So the summary reasons for refusal. Number one, this word. Okay. I have to take my breakfast on time. Ineligibility or inadmissibility. If a person's circumstances change, making them no longer eligible or admissible for entry into Canada. Example, providing false information, criminal history, or death. Risk of overstaying. If an officer believes that the individual might not leave Canada. So look at it though. Before, they already cancel visa just like that based on this reason. But right now with this, if the officer believes if he overstay, he go fit cancel himself. Go fit cancel him. You see, then the next one, document issues. If the document is lost or stolen or destroyed, I think I talked about that. Change of status, and then there is also administrative errors. If the document was issued mistakenly, maybe some people got their visa and it was mistake. Say, officer say, Charlie, we shouldn't have issued this visa. It be mistake when we take issue. They go fee or so on. They gave 5 scenarios. They gave 5 scenarios based on which a document can be cancelled. So probably let me just read those 5 scenarios here, okay? 5 scenarios that were given, okay? You can see them there, 5 different scenarios. Let me go ahead and read them. Scenario number 1, if after obtaining your visa or after entering Canada, you get convicted of a crime that will make you inadmissible, your visa could be cancelled. If you enter Canada successfully, but then you go commit crime, your visa could be cancelled. Scenario number 2, suppose you've been granted a study permit and you enter Canada, but later it is discovered that your educational institution isn't recognized or closed down, or your school now has closed down. At the time you apply, your school is there. Now that you have entered, your school has closed. It will be your fault. Let me continue. Your permit could be revoked if you are no longer eligible to study. This is the part for students. Scenario number 3, if you lose your passport, I think we've talked about that, your visa or ETA, if it's stolen, these documents could be cancelled. Scenario number 4, if you become a PR. Scenario number 5, if there was an error in issuing the document, like a clerical mistake, it could be cancelled, all right? So advice here, stay informed, make sure you are actually being updated. Make sure you are not just trusting what Choco is saying. I am telling you, you're watching me. I could make mistakes. Go read for yourself. If you know they understand, book a time and speak with an expert immigration person. Let them, be agent. I didn't talk agent. Agent are not expert. Experts, licensed Canadian immigration expert, consultant or lawyer. Then they go explain, especially if what you are reading online is confusing you, what content creators are saying is confusing you. You know what I mean? Somebody has written on my YouTube channel and I'm saying, he said there is one particular airline. I won't mention the airline's name. There is one particular airline from Europe that has been doing this. You'll be there and then in transit, you hear your name on the PA system. You see what I mean? They don't mention your name. Shukri Mohammed. Please come over here to this. By the time they will finish talking to you, your friends are already boarding. You see, do you know that airline? Do you know that airline I'm talking about? Okay, I won't mention names. I didn't mention any airline. I didn't see anything. I said the airline is in Europe. I didn't mention any airlines name. You understand what I mean? When No More Wars came to visit, he said something. He said, look, there were 2 Ghanaians that were with him on that flight. And they all got returned. They were on visitor's visa. And the reasons were just basic reasons. They were asking them questions, trying to get into their head, asking them questions. And these guys couldn't answer the questions. So they returned them. But see, so those days, no, they returned them away. they return them. So in the future, some of them may try to even come again. But this time around, with this new powers, the officer, if you just look on like this now, then you cancel them. You see what I mean? So your document has now been cancelled. Then it means you have nothing again, right? All right, okay. Yeah, all right. So be informed, stay updated. That's my suggestion to you. My opinion. Be informed. This is how you stay on top. Know what your application is. Be informed. Number 2, protect your document. Make sure you're protecting your documents. Make sure you're keeping your documents safe. Avoid overstaying. Right? If you told them you're coming to do XYZ, just make sure you are being, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then understand your rights. If your visa is cancelled, you have the right to know why. You might even be eligible to an appeal, or you could even reapply if it has been cancelled, or you could even talk to an immigration lawyer to see if they could represent you. Legal assistance is there as well, right? So just know your rights and just make sure you are compliant with the conditions of your visa. In other words, if you are not compliant, you could be undermining the very visa that you have, all right? Border agents are going to be under a lot of, especially, you know what is going on with Trump in office and so many things happen. This government is under massive pressure here, and they are looking for every area that they can crawl back and close gaps and weaknesses and stuff like that to make a good case for themselves, for the Canadians to give them another chance to rule. It's not been easy for them, so yes, you guys will have to also just look out for some of this and just make sure you are on top. I'm going to use the next 5 minutes to read 1 or 2 questions. Please make sure your question is about this. If you ask any other question outside of this particular video's topic, I will not be covering that, unfortunately. 5 minutes. Keep your questions coming on the screen. There's a live broadcast. I will read them and then we'll go through them, okay? Thank you. All right. Nyaniwa MC2. I met some Nigerians and Kenyan asylum seekers in Germany who were denied entry to Canada while on transit in Frankfurt. So and so, Lufthansa is no joke. Thank you so much for sharing that there. All right, so that is from Nyani Wa MC2. All right, let me see if there are other ones coming through. Prince Fiajibe, I passed by CVAC, the Visa Application Center, I believe that's it, in Abelimpe this morning, and the place was literally empty. You know why it's empty? Because visa approval rates have dropped so much. People are getting more visa refusals than approvers, all right? Okay, Jerry Smith. I need immigration lawyer to submit my study permit application. Please recommend one for me. Okay, that's from Jerry Smith. I cannot blast just any immigration lawyer's contact on here. I'll have to probably just, anyway, so I just can't recommend anything on screen here, all right? James Bunmi, okay, I work 30 hours per week, but my job is part-time. It's not related to this. It's unrelated to this, unfortunately. All right, okay. Yours is about work hours. All right. Anything that has to do with this. Brother Man has a comment here, and I'm reading that right now. Some airlines even refuse flights that has been booked already. That is true. That is true. Some airlines will ask you to show them or give, they want to see the credit card or bank card that was used to buy the ticket. And if you don't have it, it could be the basis of a lot of stress, isn't it? Yeah, it happened to a friend of mine who is even like almost a Canadian citizen. Yeah, he's a Canadian citizen. I was traveling from Canada to Ghana, and at the airport, they asked him to, you know, they want to see the credit card that was used to purchase the ticket, and he didn't have a man. They didn't allow the guy to board. This is somebody who is a Canadian citizen trying to leave Canada to go to Africa, and then the person was frustrated. They didn't allow him to board. He had to. So if you use a credit card, a debit card to buy, especially if you didn't buy directly from your bank account, where you can actually open your emails for them to see that this was the confirmation of the purchase of the ticket and it was from your bank account and you have evidence. Those of you who use credit card and debit cards, just make sure you are doing it right. It's better to buy with your own card. If it's a family member's card and you don't have that card with you, you could be denied departure from your own home country. You could also be denied, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. A. Basit Awudu. Boss, what about those who visited Canada and came back part about the visa cancelled? So if you visited Canada and you went back, obviously it looks to me like, unless you did something bad, it looks to me like you came and you went back. So I don't see an issue there, isn't it? Yeah. This has to do with people who are probably, so this video is not to say, I just want to be clear, this video is not saying they're going to cancel all visitor visas, work permits, or student visas. It's saying that those whom the immigration workers or border agents or officers think will constitute a public safety threat or inadmissibility cases there, or people who may have misrepresented, gave false information, material information at the time they applied, or maybe later on they found some information, or other reasons such as maybe there are so many reasons. This is not to say your visas are going to be cancelled. If you fall into those categories and the officers think that you deserve to have your visa cancelled, they could do that. All right, Ako Taylor, I'm in the USA. How can I speak with you? Can I send you an email? I spoke to you once. All right, Chief Choco. Chief is saying, Choco, can you recommend some of the legit airline? No, I'm not going to recommend. Make me, I go recommend. You go use that way, they stop you. You can't blame it on me. No, you go do your own research. I don't recommend anything. You see what I mean? You go do your own research, all right? Because if something goes bad or if it goes south, you're going to say Choco was the one who said you should go and use Kantanka Airlines. You went there, Kantanka Airlines, and then the airline was not flying. You see what I mean? Yeah, no. Franco Simire, greetings, boss. Choco, greetings to you as well. Yeah, speak to experts if you can about some of these things, okay? Olowo Yeye Michael, please, I submitted my Canada application tourist visa early this month. Said, thank you for the statement. Thankfully, it's not a question, so that makes it easier. Thankfully, okay, wishing you all the best there. Say, I submitted my Canada application tourist visa early this year. All right. Thank you for letting us know. It was a statement, not a question. If you're enjoying this video, smash the like button, share, and put it in your WhatsApp groups. Let people watch it. If you don't post it, no problem. A lot of people will probably not know about this update. And they are coming. They're coming to visit. Spring is just around the corner, isn't it? Summer will be coming very soon. And many people will still be coming with their visitor visas or ETAs. All right. All right, guys, so that'll be it for now. Thanks so much for sticking with me. My name is Choco Miller. And don't forget to download the Afriex app. Use Afriex to send money and enjoy, okay? Use Afriex to send money. Is there any other question that I missed? I don't think so. Yes. Nana Kwanzaa. I came to Canada and spent only 3 weeks. I have 8 weeks visa. Can my visa be affected? And can I? No, I think people are getting it wrong. This video is not saying your visa will be affected. So those of you who are coming, you are doing what you are supposed to do. You have no issues. You're good to go. This will probably affect those who they suspect are undermining the integrity of the immigration system by acquiring visas in certain ways. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right. So those are the people. And like I told you, I feel a lot of people, especially India, people even think India, number one country where you see what I mean? If you take maybe 10 immigration cases, maybe 7 of them will come from India. So the rest comes from all the other countries. All I'm saying is that these are updates they've brought, which gives the immigration officer more power to cancel visas if there are some evidences suggesting that this visa needs to be cancelled. So it is your duty to make sure you are familiar with this development and make sure you are in good standing. All right? Okay. Thank you. Davidson Ephraim, thank you so much for what you do for us. My daughter used your link to apply to study through Passage for still waiting for admission. Okay, thank you. Good to hear. Construction no limit. Ask a question. How much or what's the maximum limit of money sending through the app? If I like to read further, please drop the, check the description box. Please check the description box. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Emmanuel Owusu, Prempe, is that Prempe? Is the work permit route still a viable option? We're living in times where visa approval rates are down. LMI is still there, but the approval rating is really low because of so many reasons I can't talk about in just this video. Thanks for watching. I will see you on the other side. Peace. Bye-bye.